Hey, what's up guys, it's DoubleWinning, and I figured I'd change it up a little bit here, and I'm going to show you the runes and masteries that I'm going to be using for this gameplay. I'm playing Darius in the top lane, and I'm using this rune page, The Flash, where I take movement speed quintessences, I take 5% worth of cooldown reduction, take a little bit of magic resist, armor in my yellows, and a little bit of armor penetration and a little bit of attack damage in my reds. And for my masteries, it's also titled The Flash, and I'm taking just 5% cooldown reduction. I've got 21 in defense. I've got the enhanced recall and just some more movement speed here. And the idea behind this runes and masteries setup is that Darius is a really immobile champion, so with my build and with my runes and masteries, it'll make him somewhat mobile, and so you guys will be able to see how that works out for me, and I'll see you guys in the game. What is up guys, it's DoubleWinning, and today I'm bringing you a Darius top lane gameplay commentary, and if you guys saw before, I showed you guys the runes and masteries, as this is going to be a move speed Darius game. You see, with me not having as much attack damage, I start out kind of weak, and my movement speed isn't that much higher than it would be normally, and sorry, I didn't have the game going right there, but the idea is that Darius is not a very mobile champion, so if you get a bunch of movement speed on him, it kind of makes it with the fact that he doesn't really have any mobility skills. And it does kind of synergize a little bit with him since his bleed, actually. If targets are bleeding, he gains 5% movement speed for every champion that is bleeding. So I thought I was going to be going up against Nidalee, but instead I'm going up against Katarina top. And this Katarina actually dumpstered me when I played Fizz middle, so I was a little wary for this Katarina, but playing Katarina versus a mid Fizz is a little bit different than playing Darius versus Katarina top. So with the flask health potion start, I'm not really going to be able to all in right off the bat, as well as I have a Ghost Ignite, which can be good and bad against Katarina. One, a flash wouldn't be that useful because in the instance that she could just Shumpo away. However, if she's going to be kind of squishy, the flash to get just a little, like one more skill order on her would be really nice. However, the Ghost is going to be good for chasing her down. After she's used a Shumpo, I can close the gap, and then she has no more escapes available to her. And then Ignite, of course, you need Ignite as Darius most of the time, just so you can get that extra damage from, that unnatural level 6 all-in burst, as well as you have pretty good all-in at, levels 1, 2, and 4. Once you get your pull. So in this matchup, it's going to be really about me bullying her as much as I can. I'm going to want to get a little bit of magic resist early on, but as you guys know, this is a move speed Darius kind of gameplay commentary. So my core build is going to be a set of boots that has alacrity on it. I'm going to be getting a Triforce, and then I actually do believe I get a Zephyr when the reason I get Merc treads and a Zephyr, even though you're stacking tenacity, is because I needed the extra little bit of magic resist against Katarina. But I don't really think the tenacity was really that important against their team. If you look, Shyvana's not really going to slow me down. Nidalee's not going to slow me down. Thresh's CC, the tenacity is not going to help that much against, except for maybe his ultimate. And then Jinx's traps is really what the tenacity would help the most against. So tenacity is really not that important in this game. I think if I would have done this again and I was a little less scared of Katarina, I probably would have gotten Boots of Swiftness if I was sticking with the kind of magic or movement speed theme, So she started cloth armor with the 5 health potions, which is good because it's going to allow her to kind of survive kind of the early game aggression that Darius has. And I'm going to go back here, and on my first buy, I'm going to get a Doran's Blade and null-magic mantle. And so you can see I don't really have enough money for extra potions here, but the flask is going to be enough, plus that null-magic mantle is really going to put a real damper on her damage, since she wasn't able to just start out with a bunch of damage. When I played her as Fizz, when I was Fizz and she was cat mid, she started blue pot, and so she was really able to zone me out once I had used some of my mana, and so she's actually going to come back with a Seeker's Arm Guard, which is a good choice. As I have talked about a lot when I'm playing Darius, or if I'm advising people of playing against Darius, a lot of the time health is going to be a lot more important playing against Darius than a little bit of armor. Just like a small bit of armor, maybe the cloth armor, maybe 2, or a Doran's shield, which isn't necessarily armor, it's the auto attack reduction. But and then like a Giant's Belt will really help. So if she's going to go Seeker's Arm Guard into Giant's Belt, that would really help against against Darius, because you really can't just build glass cannon against Darius. So you're going to see here, we're going to be doing lots of trading. She was actually able to hit level 6 before me, but I knew I was going to hit level 6 once I cleared those creeps, and so I dropped the ultimate on her, dropped the ignite on her, and I knew she was going to die even after she flashed away, so I made sure to drop a few disrespect laughs just because, you know, I had to kind of make up for lost ground after she had kind of given me a pummeling when I played Fizz mid. And actually, when I got into the game, I was like, oh no, Katarina, please don't steal any more of my elo, because I thought she was going to go against the Kale, and I thought she was just going to dumpster the Kale, but she decided to come up top against me, and so I go ahead and get myself another Doran's Blade, you know, kind of continue the early game power, and then I get myself, you know, a nice little pair of boots here, aka one shoe for the old King Lord Darius here, and it's going to give me enough movement speed to really keep up with Katarina and chase her forward while using the 5% bleed that is applied. The bleed, when it's applied, it gives me the 5% extra movement speed. It's going to allow me to kite forward with her, as well as my W is going to slow her down, and it really is going to make it catching up to her even after she uses a Shumpo possible. So I'm going to pull her in here. She's going to Shumpo away, and I wasn't able to really get a good combo off on her, but it's okay because you know, it kind of just keeps that aggression up, and I have plenty of mana just because I have that flask, and I have a decent mana pool right now. Darius' mana pool is kind of rough, but if you have any sort of mana regen, you know, whether it be flask or something, you're usually going to be fine. So as you can see here, I used the Ghost. I've got the movement speed. I know she's already used Shumpo, so I don't have anything to worry about. I just come in. She's already used Shumpo, so I pull her in, use a small little combo, and then ult her, and she's dead. So I didn't have to worry about that. And so that's really what Darius does. He really just shuts down lanes. You can be a total lane bully, and then, you know, after you're done killing them, you want to make sure you push in the wave so they lose as much EXP as possible, and then jungler comes up here to soak up some of that XP as she should. So I think I get Merc treads, and I might get the alacrity. No, I'm not able to get the alacrity yet, so I get myself a longsword just because I really don't need to worry about the all-in burst of Katarina, since she did have to buy defensive, and if we were to, you know, scrap it out all in, I win that all-in encounter, so I really don't have to worry about that. However, you know, I still do need to be safe here because, you know, if they roam a little bit, then they might be able to get me. But I really just, like this, I don't really care about her all-inning me, just because once she's used her, okay, so I had wondered why she lived there before, and that's because it looks like my animation for my W actually got canceled, so the damage didn't apply. I was actually streamed this game. If you guys want to check out my stream, it's twitch.tv/DoubleWinning. I'll have a link in the description. But I was like, what the heck? Like, why didn't any of the damage apply? Like, she should have been at like 2 health, or if she was going to survive that. But it looks pretty clear that the animation was just canceled. So either it went on cooldown, or I just messed up my click there. So with a 2-0 lead here, my team's actually 8-0 right now. The game does even up a little bit later on, but right now it's looking really, really good. And then so right here, again, the bleed is ticking down. She gets down to about 36 health, so she lives with, you know, the little hair on her chin, you know, because she's a girl and she has a hair on her chin. Yes. Either way, Shyvana whiffs the super great ulti, you know, so I make sure to spam laugh, and then I'm going to go back, and this is when I get my alacrity, you know, just to kind of keep with that movement speed theme. Maybe, you know, all the movement speed isn't necessarily the best choice, but, I mean, I was streaming this game, and I said I'd be doing movement speed Darius, and so I wanted to kind of stick with that theme, and it is still really good because with the bleed, you can really kite people out. You know, if you think of kind of like how you play Udyr, you know, when you're just like running around using Bear Stance and stunning and using Turtle and things like that, you can kind of do the same with Darius in a less, you know, annoying way, because you can auto, you know, W, get the slow on them, which puts the bleed on them, which makes you faster, and then you can kind of kite them backwards by hitting them with the outer edge of your Q, which is going to do the extra damage, and it's going to keep them bleeding, which is going to give you the extra movement speed. So it's a pretty good. And then, of course, you know, once you've done enough damage with your dot and the outsides of your Q, etc., you can just sneak, turn around, and smack them with a dunk, which, you know, right now it's only a rank 1, so it's only maximum damage of 366. But once I get to level 11, you'll see that max damage shoot up to around 500 to 600. And so Katarina is actually going to come in here. She's 3 levels behind me, so I can basically completely zone her off the tower. There's nothing she can do. So I'm just going to wait here for the creeps. Plus, with Shyvana being bot lane, I don't have anything to worry about, which I should probably turn off the Fog of War. Or either turn it on, rather. So I'm just going to kind of spam laugh here since the creeps can see me. You know, I want to make sure they know that I'm spamming laugh. And looks like we pick up a tower down bot, and I'm going to kind of roam around the jungle here to see if there's anything I can do. However, I see that there's a 2v1 here. I'm honestly not that worried about the 2v1 because Shyvana, while she does have a pretty good amount of farm, I do have my ultimate up, and I do have Ignite up, and I do have Ghost up. So I did miss the Q here, but I'm going to start fighting her in a second. I kept pinging for assistance because I knew we could turn this fight around. She's actually going to pop her dragon form and hit me back. And Katarina's going to get the full ulti off, but I am still going to be able to pop the dragon lady with my ultimate because I think I was level... No, I was still level 10 there, so... But if I was level 11, I could have done it a lot sooner. But yeah, so my ultimate did 381 damage. Actually, probably less than that because I didn't have the phage before, but you can see I'm going for the phage next, which is going to give me movement speed when I hit a target. So yeah, grant 20 movement speed for 2 seconds if I hit something, and then kills grant me 60 movement speed. And then I'm going to grab the dagger, which of course is going to go toward the zeal, which is going to give me even more movement speed. Yeah, so I have, you know, a pretty decent farm right now. It's not nearly as good as it could be, but I'm able to scare away the Shyvana here. I don't actually have my ult up, but I know next time we fight, I can actually blow my Ghost because she already used her flash. I wasn't going to use Ghost with her flash being up, or like her main escape being up. But now that I know her flash is down for sure, if she tried to fight again, I could definitely try and Ghost after her. But that's not the case, so I'm just going to go ahead and push this tower here. And it's pretty much going to go almost uncontested here, unless that is later on. But, oh yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to kill the Katarina here. Yeah, so I get a dunk off on her, and then I'm running away from the Nidalee. She's just going to hit me in the face with the spear here pretty quick. Nothing really I can do about it. I tried to juke, but Lee Sin was coming to try and give me the safeguard, but... Nidalee was able to just kind of smack me in the face, and the movement speed did help there for a little bit, but it wasn't quite enough to save me. And Nidalee's going to flash away. They're going to try and kill her. She's going to throw out spear, and you know nothing's going to happen, as it is usually with Nidalee's. So I'll be spawning here in about one momento, and I got my zeal, so my movement speed is now at 442, making me the fastest Darius player of all time. And then I'm going to go push top lane because Darius's strength is 1v1ing by pushing top lane, and so that's where the Triforce really does help because with Triforce you're going to get that extra bonus damage on towers. You're going to use your W, you're going to get 200% just from the skill itself, and then you're going to get 200% from the Triforce, so you're going to smack towers incredibly hard, as well as you can actually push waves pretty fast with your Q and the bleed. As well as in this build, I actually do get a Sunfire Cape. The reason for that is because you do want a little bit of tankiness, so when you're kiting and running away and things like that, and you're running in between their team, you want to have a little bit of magic damage burning, plus it helps push waves, and you know, just, like I said, makes you a little bit more tanky, and it's cheap. It's cheap, effective, and still keeps your damage pretty relevant. So I'm going to go ahead and push this tower a little bit, make sure I get, you know, the creeps that I can, and then I got the tower, and then they're coming in for the Goon Squad here. I popped the Ghost. I'm trying to dodge out Thresh's skills, and I actually dodge out his Flay, and then I'm running away, but their whole team is pretty much cornering me here, and I'm not Udyr. I don't have a shield I can just pop to absorb the Nidalee Spear, so I am going to die, but I did get away for a little bit there, and that is going to give me enough gold so I can go ahead and get my Triforce, which is going to make me even faster, and then I get the Giant's Belt, like I said, because I want to go toward the Sunfire Cape, and it's going to get me a little bit more tanky. And if you look at my move speed, I'm at 452. I don't remember when diminishing returns kick in. I think it's like 475, maybe 425, maybe something like that. But either or, this is 452 when I haven't hit a target and no targets are bleeding. So if you kind of pay attention to my movement speed, you see there. It'll jump up. It's like 518 right now, and that's because I had a bunch of targets bleeding from my Q, so I can get really, really fast if I'm in a team fight. And then, of course, if I'm just hitting 1 or 2 targets, then I still get a ton of movement speed from my Triforce and the bleed. So I'm going to run back to base here, heal up, and then I think I might get... No, it looks like I'm still going to go back to farming. I don't know how much gold I have right now. Looks like, yeah, I just got 200 gold, so I need to farm quite a bit more before I'm going to be able to get the Sunfire. And it looks like they went ahead and took our blue, gave it to Jinx, so I'm just like, whatever, I'll kill you someday. And then I use my Decimate, push the wave a little bit, and kind of go back to splitting. And I kept telling my team, you know, if you guys 4-push mid or 4-push top or 4-pressure Baron or anything, like pressure, then I can 1v1 anyone on their team, and I can almost 2v1 and live anyone on their team. So, you know, 2v1 I might die, but I should certainly at least be able to take 1 or 2 of them, which they would then be able to start a fight. However, we are able to get a pretty good scenario here. I didn't actually catch the fact that she flashed there, so I was really confused as to why my pole didn't get anyone. But you know, a jungle fight is actually pretty good for us because we're able to kind of catch people out, and Darius is a little bit better in the jungle, in a jungle fight, just because his mobility doesn't really matter as much, just because it's a lot more closed spaces. And Morgana's going to get off a pretty good ult here, which is actually going to pop the Katarina instantly. I'm going to get some bleed off on this this Thresh. I'm going to pull him in, going to dunk him since I've already used my dunk on Katarina, so I can use the dunk for free because I knew it was going to go on cooldown anyway, and then I'm going to go back to pushing bottom because that's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be just farming top like this Kayle is doing. Kayle should have went mid immediately, put the pressure on, and then we would have gotten, you know, a ton of objectives here. And so as you can see, I'm just kind of pushing this as hard as I can. I've got the Triforce, so it's going to allow me to push incredibly fast. And then I think I'm going to go back here. Yeah. I don't know how much gold I have now, but I got 1700, so I've got the Sunfire Cape now, and so this is kind of the core build for this kind of setup is Triforce, some set of boots that has Alacrity on it, and the Sunfire Cape, because it's going to give you pushing power, it's going to give you survivability, it's going to give you wave clear, and it's going to give you a ton of movement speed. So I've got 452 movement speed. Of course, you guys saw when targets are bleeding, my movement speed skyrockets, as well as when I'm hitting targets, the Triforce gives me the extra movement speed. So it's a pretty good combo all in all. So I'm going to go back to pushing bot. I keep telling my team to pressure. I go ahead and put a little bit of ward there. It's not going to give me that much coverage, but it'll cover the fact that if they're trying to kind of sneak up around me. Nidalee here I don't really need to worry about, because if you look at her armor and her health, she's got 1500, you know, 1600 health. She got 64 armor. I could pretty much all in her with a 1 combo rotation, as long as I get an auto attack or 2 in, making sure, you know, I get those the Triforce procs. So I'm not really worried about her too much. I'm going to look for any opportunity I can to kill her. Unfortunately, I missed my pull there, and then also if I ignite her, her heal isn't going to do nothing. So they have 3 people on me right now. I go ahead and ghost away, and then I'm still trying to taunt them a little bit, just because I want them to actually keep going after me, because I wanted my team to push mid. But unfortunately, they decide to come down, and I think it actually works out okay here in a sec. But they definitely were just wasting time by coming down. They should have just pushed mid. It would have been really easy, because Kale's got pressure up top as well. So if Kayle pushes top, and then those 3 push mid, and then I'm being chased bottom, and nothing's happening from them chasing me, then we get a free mid tower, and then they have to pull back, go mid, and then I get to push, and it's just super easy. All the while, Kayle is, you know, fighting against a Thresh. So, I mean, what's Thresh going to do against Kayle? Not much. So it could have been really easy here. So like I said, I dropped the ignite, dropped the ultimate, dropped the bleed stacks, and then I think Jinx might actually get me here because she fires the ult. Yeah. I could have maybe pulled backwards when she fired the ult and maybe taken a little bit of less damage, but I think then she might have gotten off an auto attack. And then team fight going down mid. Morgana gets hooked in by the Thresh there, and then the tower's going to pop her, and then you know, Jinx gets a little excited. Lee Sin gets really excited, goes in. She flashes behind the Jinx, fires off the ultimate. Tristana tries to kill the Jinx, not quite getting the auto attacks they need off, and Lee Sin just dies for nothing because he was trying to pull a sweet insect play, but unfortunately it backfired. So I'm going to be up here in a second. So I sell my Doran's Blade. I think I might get a pickaxe. Yeah, so I get the pickaxe, which is going to give me a little bit extra pushing power. You know, it gives me an extra AD. It's going to give me a little bit more burst. And then I'm going to be building that toward the Zephyr, which is going to give me extra pushing power through attack speed and attack damage and cooldown reduction, which is going to you know, give me more rotations of my W. But most of all, you know, it builds into that movement speed theme, because it's going to give me 10% movement speed. So let me just keep on pushing down bottom. I think I hesitated there for a second because I was trying to get my team to push, because if I just push alone, then I'm just going to die. Like, if you guys have ever happened where, oh, my team never responds, you know, when I'm pushing, putting a bunch of pressure on, well, you got to make sure your team's actually in a position to actually do something if you get caught / pressured on. So another fight in the jungle comes up, so I decided to sneak on yonder. Lee Sin gets a nice kick on the Jinx, so I just fire my Q, and then I ult her, and then I'm going to go after this Thresh just because I know he's a pretty easy kill here since I've got my ult running on that timer. Fire off the ult, get a nice double kill, and since I did get a kill there, the Triforce is giving me extra speed, and then there's nothing else I can do here. This fight really isn't... if we just drag out the fight, Nidalee's just going to get a bunch of free spears on us, so we're not really going to do much from it. So I decided to just take the take the initiative and just start pushing bottom. And then I fire off a little disrespect ulti on Shyvana just because it was going to go on cooldown. It always gets them. And then Morgana eats a spear to the face, and suddenly this fight isn't looking too great, but Lee Sin isn't scared, so I'm like, okay, I'm not scared. And then I'm really trying to save this Lee Sin, so I'm trying to stand in front of him. And then I realized that, oh wait, I'm actually just going to die. So I die for my own sins as well as Lee Sin's, and then you know, I stay dead for 30 or so seconds while my team gets dragon, and then I have around 2,200 gold, so I go ahead and buy my Zephyr, which is going to put me at 481 movement speed, and we get a nice little Baron there. So if you guys pay attention to my movement speed when I'm hitting targets or when targets are bleeding, I become very, very fast. So I'm gonna get a pull in here on Shyvana. You know, I've got that 479 and then 518 when I actually get the kill on her, because of the Triforce. When you get a kill, you know, it gives you the super bonus. And then I was running over there to see if there's any way I could get a kill, but there was not. So I decided to actually run around here to catch this Jinx, because I know I have red buff, and so I was pretty sure I was going to be able to get her. I fire off the Ghost, and then I wasn't actually able to kill her with the ultimate, so it didn't reset. If it did reset, I probably would have killed the Thresh too, just because I am pretty tanky, so I don't think the tower is going to be able to do much against me. I decided to get a nice outer edge Q off on the Katarina. Morgana throws one last auto attack at the turret before saying no, and gets popped by the turret because her fate was sealed. But I decided to just go and put some pressure on the turret there, since their whole enemy team is occupied. I get the Triforce stuff, I get the 1.5 attack speed, I get the heal from Kale to give me extra you know, movement speed or something like that, and then the creeps come in, and that's when we actually back off, and we're able to destroy the tower. And so I'm just spamming laugh here because I'm trying to have myself a good time, and we are actually coming to close to the end of the game. You know, we're going to take the inhibs, and we're going to pretty much push on their Nexus. I think they might be able to defend us for a little bit here. Either way, if you guys enjoyed this gameplay commentary, be sure to leave a like rating. You know, share it with your friends. If you enjoy me putting the runes and masteries at the beginning of the video, be sure to comment below. As well as if you want to see these kind of fun games. You know, I have fun in ranked, but I'm still trying. So if you want to see that kind of stuff, be sure to go to my stream at twitch.tv/DoubleWinning. Go ahead and drop me a follow. If I'm live, you know, you'll see me live. And then if you want to find out when I'm live, you can go to twitter.com/DoubleWinning or facebook.com/DoubleWinning, and I always post there when I'm live. I'm not always able to post on YouTube when I'm live, so you want to make sure that you follow my social media, or you just follow my stream so you can see whenever I'm live. And so I apologize that this gameplay commentary went a little bit longer. Normally I fast forward through more parts, but I didn't this time. Also, just a little trolly thing here. I got a static Shiv, which I wouldn't really recommend if you're trying to make the move speed Darius somewhat viable. I still wouldn't recommend the static Shiv. I just bought it because there's a guy in my stream who always wants me to buy static Shiv on champs, and this was the one time where I was like, okay, because I don't ever play AD carry, so static Shiv isn't really an option. I don't play Yasuo. So the static Shiv does give me movement speed. It does give me crit chance that works with the Trinity Force, and you get to fire off lightning bolts, so that's pretty cool. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate all the support, guys, and as always, stay classy and keep winning.